The year was 2147. The world had changed a lot over the last 100 years. Cities stretched into the sky, robots helped with daily work, and humans had begun to travel far beyond Earth. Space was no longer just for scientists. It was becoming home to more people every day. One of those people was Commander Ethan Blake, a quiet but strong man in his early 40s. He wasn't flashy or loud, but he was respected by everyone who worked with him. Ethan had spent most of his life in space, first as a pilot, then as a commander of deep space missions. His latest assignment was leading the crew of the USS Liberty, a mid-sized exploration vessel built to study strange objects in space. The Liberty wasn't the biggest ship in the fleet, nor was it the fastest, but it was sturdy and well-equipped. Its mission was simple: investigate a strange energy field near Neptune that had been detected by a passing probe. Scientists called it Anomaly X9. It didn't look like anything they'd seen before. It pulsed like a heartbeat, and it pulled in small bits of space dust and rock like a magnet. Ethan and his crew were excited. They had studied black holes, asteroids, and even alien ruins before. But this was something new. Maybe it was a natural phenomenon. Maybe it was something artificial, no one knew. But if there was one thing Ethan believed in, it was curiosity. The crew of the Liberty included 10 men and women. Among them was Dr. Nina Carter, a smart and careful scientist who specialized in unknown materials. She was young, maybe 30, with short brown hair and glasses. She liked to ask questions not just about science but about people too. She often talked with Ethan late at night while the ship flew through the stars. There was also Maya Trent, a junior officer, fresh out of training. She was eager to prove herself and had joined the mission as an assistant engineer. She was only 22, but she was sharp and quick to learn. She dreamed of seeing what lay beyond the edge of known space. The rest of the crew were experienced: workers, pilots, mechanics, doctors, and techs. Together they formed a close team. They trusted each other. They laughed together, ate together, and sometimes argued over movies from Earth. As the Liberty approached Anomaly X9, they began their scans. The readings were strange. The anomaly wasn't moving, but it was growing stronger. It was pulling in more and more matter. It looked like it was feeding on the space around it. "This doesn't act like any known object," Nina said, looking at her screen. "It's like it's alive." Ethan frowned. "Alive?" "Well, not exactly," she replied. "But it behaves like something with purpose. It's not random. They sent out probes to get closer. One by one, the probes vanished. Not exploded, not lost, just gone. As if they had stepped through a door and never come back. "We need to be careful," Ethan said. "No one goes near it without full backup." But curiosity got the better of them. After 2 days of observation, the crew decided to send a drone right into the center of the anomaly. If they could get data from inside, it might help explain what it was. The drone was launched. It moved slowly toward the pulsing light. Everyone watched as it got closer. Then suddenly, it disappeared. No signal. No explosion. Just gone. "What happened?" someone asked. "Lost contact," another replied. "Bring it back," Maya shouted. But there was nothing to bring back. Still, the crew stayed. They kept watching. They ran tests. They tried to understand. Then, 3 days later, something worse happened. The Liberty itself was pulled into the anomaly. It started with a low hum. Then the lights flickered. Alarms went off across the ship. Gravity shifted. People fell. Equipment broke loose. "What's happening?" someone screamed. "We're being pulled in," came the reply. Ethan tried to steer the ship away, but the controls weren't working. The anomaly had locked onto them. "Brace yourselves," he shouted. And then, darkness. All communication stopped. The Liberty vanished without a trace. Back on Earth, scientists waited for a signal. When none came, they assumed the worst. Days turned into weeks. Weeks became months. Eventually, the Liberty was declared lost, presumed destroyed. Families mourned. Reports were filed. The mission was closed, but some people never forgot. Among them was Dr. Nina Carter's brother, Jake, who had worked in space communications. He kept checking old channels, hoping to find a signal. He believed his sister was still out there somewhere. Others, like Maya's parents, held on to hope for years. They wrote letters. They gave interviews. They never stopped believing. Time, how did years became decades? The Liberty faded into history. A footnote in a book about space exploration, a mystery with no answer. Until one day, nearly 60 years later, something impossible happened. A faint signal appeared on old Earth frequencies. Weak, broken, but real. It came from the same area where the Liberty had vanished. At first, no one believed it. They thought it was a glitch, or a prank. But when satellites confirmed movement in that region of space, the world took notice. Something had returned, and it was broadcasting a distress call. Governments scrambled. Military forces were put on alert. Scientists dropped everything to study the signal. What came next shocked the world. A ship emerged from the anomaly. It was battered, covered in strange symbols, and surrounded by a faint glow. But its markings were unmistakable. It was the USS Liberty. But how? It had vanished more than half a century ago. And yet, here it was, back from the void. Teams were sent to investigate. What they found would change everything. Inside the ship, there were no signs of life. No bodies. No blood. Just silence. But there was technology unlike anything ever seen. Machines that seemed to think on their own. Materials that changed shape when touched. Data drives filled with unreadable code. One device in particular caught the attention of the research team. It looked like a crystal, but it pulsed with light. When connected to a computer, it began to show images. Strange landscapes, glowing. Beings in a place that looked like a city made of stars. No one understood what it meant, but one thing was clear. The Liberty hadn't just disappeared. It had gone somewhere else. And now, it had brought something back. The USS Liberty floated silently in space like a ghost ship. No lights blinked, no engines hummed. Just a hollow shell drifting near Neptune, carrying secrets no one could understand. Back on Earth, governments argued about what to do. Some said the ship should be destroyed before it brought danger to the planet. Others wanted to study it carefully. In the end, a small team was chosen to board the Liberty and find out what had happened. The mission was led by Captain Ethan Blake, now in his 60s but still sharp and strong. He had spent most of his life in space and knew how dangerous the unknown could be. This time he wasn't going as a commander. He was going as part of a research team trying to solve a mystery that had haunted humanity for over 60 years. Along with him was Dr. Nina Carter, now an older woman with gray hair and tired eyes but still full of curiosity. She had been searching for answers ever since her brother vanished with the Liberty. Now she finally had a chance to step inside the same ship and find out what had become of him and everyone else. The team also included Maya Trent's son, Leo, a young engineer who had grown up hearing stories about his mother's bravery. He had joined the mission hoping to find something, anything that would tell him what had happened to her. They traveled in a sleek new ship called the Orion, built for deep space exploration. The trip took weeks. When they arrived at the Liberty, they docked carefully and stepped aboard. Inside, the air was stale. Dust floated in the dim light. Everything looked untouched, like time had stopped the day the ship disappeared. "This place feels wrong," Leo whispered. "It's quiet," Nina said. "Too quiet." They moved through the hall slowly, checking every room. There were no bodies, no signs of struggle, just empty chairs, broken screens, and strange symbols carved into the walls. "These markings," Nina said, running her fingers over them. "They weren't here before." Ethan nodded. "Something changed this ship." They reached the bridge. The main console was dark, but when Nina touched it, it flickered to life. A voice crackled through the speakers. "Help us." Everyone froze. It was a recording, faint, broken, but real. Nina played it again. "We tried to escape. We couldn't. They showed us things. We saw the fold." "What's the fold?" Leo asked. "No idea," Ethan said. "But whatever it is, it did something to this ship." They continued deeper into the Liberty, looking for anything useful. They found old logs, broken machines, and strange devices that pulsed with light. One of them looked like a crystal cube. When Nina held it, her vision blurred for a moment, and she saw flashes of another world, tall towers made of light, beings that looked like fire, and a sky filled with stars that moved like waves. She gasped and dropped the cube. "You okay?" Ethan asked. "I saw something," she said. "Like a memory. Or a dream." Leo picked up the cube. "Nothing happened." "It only reacts to certain people," Nina said. They kept moving until they reached the lower levels. That's where they found the cryopod. It was hidden behind a sealed door covered in dust and wires, but it was still active. Inside was a girl, young, pale, eyes closed. "She's alive," Leo said, surprised. "How is that possible?" Ethan asked. Nina checked the pod's readout. "Her body temperature is low, her heart is beating slow, but she's breathing." They opened the pod carefully. The glass hissed as it released steam. Slowly, the girl's eyes fluttered open. She looked around, confused. "Where am I?" she whispered. Nina knelt beside her. "You're safe now. You're back on the Liberty." The girl sat up slowly. Her skin was cold. Her voice was weak. "My name is Maya," she said. Everyone stared at her. "Maya Trent?" Leo asked, stunned. She looked at him. "Do I know you?" He didn't answer right away. He just stared at her face, the same face he had seen in photos his whole life. "I'm your son," he said quietly. Maya blinked. "What?" "You've been gone for over 60 years, Ethan said gently. "The world has changed." She looked around, trying to understand. "I remember the anomaly," she said. "We went through it. Then everything went dark." Nina helped her stand. "Can you tell us what happened after that?" Maya took a deep breath. "We didn't go through space. We went through something else. The fold." "What's the fold?" Ethan asked. "I don't know how to explain it," Maya said. "It's not a place, it's more like a way of seeing. We met them there." "Met who?" "The Watchers," she said. "They weren't like us. They were made of light and sound. They spoke without speaking. They showed us things we weren't ready for." "Like what?" Nina asked. Maya shook her head. "Too much. Too fast. Some of us couldn't handle it. They died. The others changed." "Changed how?" Leo asked. Maya looked at her hands. "I can feel things now, like the ship. Like the technology here. It responds to me." Nina pointed to a nearby wall panel. "Try touching it." Maya walked over and placed her hand on the surface. Instantly the lights brightened. Machines came to life. A soft hum filled the air. The ship was waking up. Ethan looked around nervously. "That's not good." Maya turned to them. "The Liberty isn't dead. It's waiting." "Waiting for what?" Leo asked. Maya frowned. "For someone to understand." Over the next few days, Maya helped the team explore the ship further. With her touch, she activated systems that had been silent for decades. She unlocked doors, powered up computers, and even restored some of the lost data. One file contained video logs, faint images of the crew during their time in the fold. In one log, a man named Daniel Reyes, the former captain, spoke directly to the camera. "If anyone finds this," he said, "know that we didn't die. We were taken. The fold isn't just a place, it's a test. They watched us, studied us, tried to teach us." Another log showed a scientist named Karen Wu, crying. They gave us knowledge, she said. But we couldn't control it. Some of us went mad. Some of us became something else. Then the screen cut to static. Maya looked shaken. They showed us too much, she said. And we broke. Nina studied the files carefully. This technology, it's not human. It's fused with our own, like it was designed for us but not by us. Ethan crossed his arms. So someone or something is trying to give us advanced tech. Why? Maya looked at him. Maybe they think we're ready. Or maybe, Nina added, they're testing us. Leo stayed close to his mother, asking questions about her life, her memories, what she had seen. I don't remember dying, Maya said. I remember falling asleep, and then waking up just now. But how? Leo asked. I don't know, she admitted. But I think the fold changes time, slows it down, maybe even stops it. As the days passed, the team began to understand more about the ship and its new systems. But with each discovery came more questions. What were the Watchers? Why did they choose the Liberty? And why bring it back now? Then one night something strange happened. Maya was alone in the engine room when the lights flickered. She felt a presence, not a person. Something else. She turned around. No one was there. But the ship responded to her thoughts. Panels lit up. Symbols rearranged themselves. A voice echoed in her mind. You are awake. Maya gasped. Who said that? There was no reply. But deep inside she knew. The fold hadn't let go of her. It was still watching. Maya sat alone in the quiet corner of the Liberty, her back against a cold metal wall. Her eyes were closed, but she wasn't sleeping. She was listening, not with her ears, but with something deeper. Something inside her had changed. She could feel it. The voice had come again last night. You are awake. It wasn't like normal speech. It didn't come through the air or into her ears. It came directly into her thoughts like a memory that wasn't hers. And every time it spoke, she felt something shift inside the ship. Outside, the research team moved through the halls, still trying to understand what they had found. Captain Ethan Blake walked slowly behind them, his sharp eyes scanning everything. He had been in space long enough to know when something didn't make sense. This place doesn't feel abandoned, he said to Dr. Nina Carter as they passed, an open door. It feels waiting. Nina nodded. Maya's changing things just by being here. The ship reacts to her. She's not the same, Ethan said. None of us would be after 60 years and whatever that thing was. The fold, Nina whispered. They reached the engine room where Maya was sitting. She opened her eyes when she heard them approach. I can hear it, she said softly. Ethan frowned. Hear what? The fold, she said. It's still there. It never left me. Nina sat beside her. What do you mean? What is the fold? Maya looked at her mother's old friend and tried to explain. It's not a place, not like Earth or space. It's more like a way of seeing, like looking at the world and seeing something underneath it, like light inside light. That doesn't make sense, Ethan said. Maya smiled weakly. I know. But I saw things while I was there. Things we weren't meant to see yet. Like what? Nina asked. Maya took a deep breath. There were others. Beings made of light and sound. They called themselves the Watchers. Watchers? Leo, her son, asked. Why were they watching us? They wanted to learn about us, Maya said. They tested us, showed us knowledge. We couldn't control. Some of us broke. Some died. Some became something else. Leo looked scared. Like what? Maya stood up slowly. I don't know how to explain it. Some people changed. Their minds, their bodies. They didn't look human anymore. Ethan crossed his arms. So this fold, some kind of alien lab? Maybe, Maya said. Or maybe it's a school, or a prison. I don't think we were meant to understand it yet. Nina looked at the machines around them. Then why give us this technology? Why show us all this if we're not ready? Maya walked over to one of the strange walls. When she touched it, symbols lit up beneath her fingers. They gave it to us because they believe we will be ready, she said. Someday, Leo stepped forward. But what if we use it wrong? Maya turned to him. We already have. Just then, the lights flickered again. A low hum filled the room. Everyone stopped moving. Something was happening. The ship was waking up. A screen nearby blinked to life. Lines of text scrolled across it, symbols none of them recognized. But Maya did. She stared at them, her eyes wide. They're sending a message, she whispered. What does it say? Ethan asked. Maya read the symbols aloud. We return. We remember. We teach. Nina looked at her. Who returns? Maya shook her head. I don't know. But they're coming. Over. The next few days, Maya began to explore the ship more deeply. With her touch, she unlocked new parts of the Liberty that had been sealed for decades. She found hidden rooms filled with strange machines that pulsed with energy. One looked like a mirror, but instead of showing her face, it showed another world. She saw towers made of light, creatures floating in the sky, and the Watchers standing silently in the distance. When she told the others what she had seen, they didn't know what to believe. It could be a recording, Nina suggested. Or a dream, Ethan said. But Maya knew it wasn't. The fold was still connected to her. It was showing her things, pieces of a puzzle she didn't yet understand. One night, while everyone else slept, Maya wandered alone into the main control room. The ship responded to her presence. Lights came on, panels shifted. A large screen in front of her blinked once, then displayed a single word. Remember. Maya placed her hand on the screen. Instantly, images flooded her mind. She saw the Liberty disappearing into the anomaly. She saw her crewmates screaming as reality twisted around them. She saw herself stepping into the fold. And then, she saw the Watchers. They stood tall, their forms shifting between light and shadow. They didn't speak with mouths. They spoke with thought. You are chosen. You carry our gift. You must return. Maya gasped and pulled her hand away. The screen went dark. She fell to her knees, breathing hard. She had remembered, not just memories, real understanding. The fold hadn't taken them by accident. It had chosen them. It had given them knowledge. And now, it wanted something back. When she returned to the others the next morning, she looked different, tired, changed. You okay? Leo asked. Maya nodded slowly. I know more now. About what? Ethan asked. Why we were taken, she said. Why we were shown the fold. Nina leaned closer. Tell us. Maya took a deep breath. The Watchers are not just watching us. They're preparing us for something bigger. Preparing us for what? Ethan asked. Maya looked at each of them in turn. For what comes next? Back on Earth, news of the Liberty's return had spread quickly. Scientists, politicians, and military leaders debated what to do. Some believed the ship should be studied, carefully. Others feared it might bring danger. A message was sent to the team aboard the Liberty. Do not bring any unknown materials back to Earth. Report all findings immediately. Await further orders. Ethan read the message and sighed. They're afraid, he said. They should be, Maya replied. This isn't just technology. It's something more. We need to tell them what we've learned, Nina said. Maya shook her head. They won't understand. Not yet. Instead, she focused on learning more about the fold. She spent hours touching the ship's walls, letting it show her what it wanted her to see. Each time she saw more. She saw flashes of other ships, human ships, disappearing into the anomaly. She saw cities on Earth glowing with strange energy. She saw people with eyes like stars. And always, the Watchers stood in the background, silent and unmoving. One night, Maya had a vision so strong it woke her up screaming. She ran to the others, breathless. There, Not just testing us, she said. They're training us. Training us for what? Leo asked. Maya looked out the window at the stars beyond. For the war. Silence filled the room. War? Ethan asked. With who? Maya turned to him. Someone worse. She explained what she had seen. Something coming from beyond the fold. Something ancient. Something powerful. They want us to be ready, she said. Because when it arrives, we'll be the only ones who can fight it. No one spoke for a long time. Then Nina asked, How do we stop it? Maya looked at her mother's old friend. We don't, she said. We prepare. Over the next few weeks, the team worked harder than ever. They recorded everything they could. They studied the ship's systems. They tried to understand the Watcher's language. But the more they learned, the more they realized how little they knew. One day, while exploring a hidden chamber, Maya found something new. A small device, no bigger than her hand. It pulsed with soft blue light. As soon as she touched it, the ship trembled. A deep voice echoed through the halls. Time has passed. The lesson begins. Maya looked at the others. They're starting again, she said. Starting what? Ethan asked. Maya held up the device. A new test. Back on Earth, the world was changing fast. The return of the USS Liberty had shaken governments. The strange technology found aboard the ship was unlike anything humans had ever built. Scientists were excited. Military leaders were scared. Politicians argued about what to do next. Some people believed the Liberty should be studied carefully piece by piece. Others thought it was too dangerous to keep around. And a few, very powerful people, believed its secrets could make them stronger than anyone else. In secret meetings behind closed doors, plans were made. We can't let this fall into the wrong hands, said one general during a meeting at the Global Defense Council. And who decides what wrong means? Wrong, asked another. Meanwhile, back near Neptune, the team aboard the Liberty continued their work. Maya spent most of her time alone, listening to the ship, touching its walls, letting it show her more of the fold. She had started to understand things. No one else could. She saw flashes of the future, cities burning, ships falling from the sky, people with glowing eyes fighting something huge and dark, and always, the Watchers stood nearby, watching. Leo stayed close to his mother. He didn't like how quiet she had become. You're not sleeping again, are you? He asked one night as they sat together in the mess hall. Maya shook her head. I don't need much sleep anymore. That's not normal, Leo said. Nothing about me is normal now, she replied. Captain Ethan Blake watched Maya carefully. He respected her, but he was also worried. She was changing, slowly but clearly. She moved differently, spoke differently. Sometimes she seemed to know what people were going to say before they said it. Ethan pulled Dr. Nina Carter aside one evening. She's not just remembering, he said. She's becoming something else. Nina looked at him. You think she's still human? I don't know, Ethan admitted. But I do know we have bigger problems. He pointed to a message that had just arrived from Earth. Return to orbit immediately. Do not activate unknown systems. Await further orders. They're afraid of us, Nina said. They're afraid of her, Ethan corrected. Back on Earth, the arguments grew louder. A group of military leaders wanted the Liberty seized and brought to a secure facility for study. They feared the knowledge inside the ship could be used against humanity if it fell into the wrong hands. Another group, mostly scientists and diplomats, believed the ship should be left alone. They thought trying to control the technology would only bring disaster. And then there were those who saw opportunity. One powerful man, Director Marcus Grant, head of the Interplanetary Research Division, spoke in private to his closest advisors. If we control the Liberty, we control the future, he said. We must act before others do. He gave secret orders to prepare a team to board the ship, not to study it but to take it. Meanwhile, aboard the Liberty, Maya began to feel something new. It wasn't the Watchers this time. It was something else, something angry. She stood alone in the main control room when the lights flickered again. A low hum filled the air. Symbols glowed across the walls. Then suddenly the ship reacted. Alarms blared. Machines came alive. Panels shifted. Doors sealed shut. Maya gasped. "They know," she whispered. "What?" Leo ran into the room, followed by Ethan and Nina. Maya turned to them. "Someone is coming, not just to see us, to take us." Ethan grabbed his radio. "This is Blake. All hands, lock down the ship. We may have company." Outside, a new ship appeared on radar. It was sleek, fast, and carried the markings of the Earth Defense Fleet, but it wasn't friendly. It docked with the Liberty without warning. Moments later, armed soldiers stepped inside. They wore black armor. Their weapons were powered and ready. At the front was a tall woman named Commander Helen Reyes, daughter of the Liberty's former captain. She looked around the ship like she already owned it. "This vessel is now under the protection of the Global Defense Command," she announced. "You will hand over all findings and prepare for transfer." Ethan stepped forward. "We weren't told anything about this." "You weren't supposed to be," Commander Reyes said coldly. "Orders come from Director Grant himself." Nina stepped beside Ethan. "We're not done studying the ship. You can't just take it." Reyes looked at Maya. "The girl comes with us," she said. "She's the key." Maya stood still, her eyes locked on the soldiers. "No," she said quietly. Reyes raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" Maya took a step forward. "You don't understand what you're dealing with." Reyes smirked. "We understand enough." Maya closed her eyes, and then the ship responded. Lights flashed, doors slammed shut, systems rebooted. The Liberty itself seemed to come alive, reacting to Maya's thoughts. The soldiers raised their weapons. "Stand down," Reyes shouted. But it was too late. The Liberty rejected them. Suddenly the floor beneath the soldiers trembled. The walls pulsed with energy. One soldier screamed as his weapon short-circuited. Reyes backed away. "What the hell is this?" Maya opened her eyes. "The ship doesn't want you here," she said. "Leave." Reyes hesitated, then barked an order. "All units, fall back." Her team scrambled out, docking line cut, retreating to their ship. As soon as they were gone, the Liberty calmed down. The lights dimmed. The hum faded. Everything returned to normal. Maya collapsed to her knees. Ethan helped her up. "You okay?" he asked. Maya nodded slowly. "It's getting harder to control." "Control what?" Nina asked. "Everything," Maya said. "The ship, my thoughts, the fold." Leo looked at her. "They'll be back." "I know," Maya whispered. Back on Earth, the failed mission sent shockwaves through the government. Director Grant was furious. "They defied direct orders," he growled. "That ship belongs to us." His advisor, a thin man named Dr. Langford, in town, tried to calm him. "We don't even understand what's happening aboard that ship," he said. "Trying to force our way in might be dangerous." Grant turned to him. "Then we find another way." He ordered a second plan, this time not to seize the ship, but to destroy it. Meanwhile, aboard the Liberty, Maya kept seeing more visions. She saw warships firing at the ship. She saw Earth covered in darkness. She saw herself standing alone, surrounded by fire, and always the same message echoed in her mind. "You must choose." One night, she told the others what she had seen. "They're going to try again," she said. "And next time, they won't ask." Ethan looked grim. "Then we have to decide what we're going to do." "There's nothing we can do," Nina said. "We're just a small team. We can't fight Earth." "We don't have to fight," Maya said. "We just have to leave." Leo stared at her. "What do you mean?" Maya looked at the ship around them. "The Liberty is waking up," she said. "It wants to go back." "To the fold?" Nina asked. Maya nodded. "It knows what's coming. It wants to prepare us." Ethan crossed his arms. "You're saying we should just disappear again?" "I'm saying we have to," Maya said, "before they destroy us." Silence filled the room. Finally, Nina spoke. "If we leave, we may never come back." Maya looked at her mother's old friend. I know. Over. The next few days, the team prepared. They gathered everything they could: data, tools, supplies. They studied the ship's systems more deeply than ever. Maya taught them how to speak to the ship, how to listen to it, and slowly they understood. The Liberty wasn't just a ship, it was a key, a gateway, a teacher. And now, it was ready to go, home. Then one day, the signal came. Earth was sending another ship, not to negotiate, not to study, to end this. The Liberty's sensors picked up the approaching vessel. It was armed, dangerous. They're coming to destroy us, Ethan said. Maya stood at the center of the ship. She placed her hands on the wall, and she whispered a single word. Go. The Liberty shuddered, engines roared to life. Lights burned, bright, and then the ship vanished, just like before. Only this time it wasn't taken. It chose to go. Back on Earth, chaos erupted. The military lost contact with the Liberty. The sky above Neptune went silent. No trace of the ship remained, but deep in space, far beyond the reach of Earth, the Liberty reappeared, floating in the stars, waiting. Maya stood at the window, looking out at the vast unknown. They'll come, after us, she said softly. Ethan walked beside her. Then we better be ready. Maya smiled slightly. We will be. The Liberty drifted silently in deep space, not near Earth, not near Neptune, nowhere anyone had ever been before. Stars stretched out in every direction like distant fires. The ship floated among them, calm and quiet. Inside, the crew gathered. In the main room, Ethan stood with his arms crossed, looking at the view screen. It showed nothing but blackness, no planets, no stars close by. Just open space. Where are we? He asked quietly. Maya didn't answer right away. She placed her hand on the wall beside her. The ship pulsed softly beneath her fingers, like it was breathing. I don't know, she said finally, but this is where it wanted to come. Leo walked over to the screen. We're really alone now, aren't we? Nina looked around the room. Not for long. Maya turned to her. You feel it too? Nina nodded. Something's watching us. Outside, the darkness began to shift. Lights flickered in the distance. Slowly, shapes formed. Tall, slender figures made of light and sound. The watchers had returned. Maya stepped closer to the window. They're not enemies, she whispered. They never were. Ethan frowned. Then what are they? Maya closed her eyes. When she opened them again, her voice was calm. They're teachers. As the watchers drew closer, the Liberty responded. Panels lit up. Symbols changed. The ship seemed to hum with energy. Then suddenly a voice filled the room, not from any speaker, but inside their minds. You have returned. You are ready. Leo gasped. Did you hear that? Everyone nodded. Maya stepped forward. Ready for what? The voice came again. To see, to learn, to fight. A door opened at the far end of the ship. Light poured through. Without thinking, Maya started walking toward it. Wait, Ethan called. Are you sure about this? Maya turned back to him. I have to go. They need me. Leo looked scared. What if you don't come back? Maya smiled gently. I'll always be here. She stepped through the door and vanished. For a moment, there was silence. Then the ship trembled. A new path opened, not just in space but in understanding. Back on Earth, the world reacted with shock. The Liberty had disappeared again, this time without a trace. Governments scrambled to understand what had happened. Scientists studied old data, trying to find clues. Director Grant was furious. They slipped away, he growled. Again. His advisor, Dr. Langford, tried to reason with him. We still have the data, he said. Maybe we can study it, learn from it. Grant shook his head. We lost our chance. We should have taken that ship when we had the chance. Langford looked at him carefully. Do you really think you could have controlled it? Grant didn't answer. He knew the truth. The Liberty wasn't something to be controlled. It was something to be understood. And only Maya could do that. Back aboard the ship, Maya stood in a new place. Not part of the Liberty, not part of space. It was like a dream made real. Towers of light rose around her. The air shimmered with energy. The watchers surrounded her. One stepped forward. Its form shifted between human-like and something else entirely. Maya looked at it. Why did you bring me? Back? She asked. The watcher answered in thought, not words. Because time is short. Because danger comes. Because you are the bridge. The bridge between what? She asked. Between your people and what lies beyond. Maya felt a chill. What lies beyond? The watcher raised its hand. In front of her, the sky changed. She saw something vast and dark moving through space. Not a ship. Not a planet. Something older. Something hungry. It moved slowly, leaving destruction behind it. Entire worlds burned. Ships fell from the sky. And in the distance, other beings watched. Some fighting, others fleeing. Maya gasped. What is that? She whispered. The Hollow One. Maya stared at the image. How do we stop it? The watcher looked at her. You do not stop it. You prepare for it. Maya felt fear rise in her chest. How long do we have? The watcher reached out and touched her forehead. Images flashed in her mind. Earth burning. People running. War in the stars. Then, one final image, her, standing at the center of it all. Maya woke up. She was back on the Liberty, lying on the floor. Leo was beside her. Are you okay? He asked. Maya sat up slowly. I saw it, she whispered. Saw what? Nina asked. Maya looked at each of them in turn. The thing the watchers are afraid of. The Hollow One. It's coming. Ethan crossed his arms. And how do we fight? Something like that? Maya stood up. We don't fight it, she said. We teach our people what we've learned. We help them get ready. Nina frowned. How? We're out here. Earth won't listen to us. Maya smiled slightly. They will, if we give them proof. Ethan looked at her. What kind of proof? Maya walked to the main control panel. She placed her hand on it. The ship responded instantly. Symbols glowed. Lights brightened. And then, a signal was sent. Across space, across time, across everything. Back on Earth, the message arrived. Not as a radio wave, not as a video, but as a vision. People stopped where they stood. They saw the same images Maya had seen, the Hollow One, the war, the Watchers, and Maya herself, standing in the middle of it all. Millions of people saw it. Scientists, soldiers, politicians, children, all at once. And for the first time in history, the whole world was silent. Then, the message ended, and the world began to change. Back aboard, the Liberty, Maya looked out at the stars. They'll come for us, she said, sooner or later. Ethan nodded. Let them come. Nina looked at the data flowing across the screens. This isn't just about Earth anymore, she said. It's about everyone. Leo stepped beside his mother. What happens next? He asked. Maya looked at him. We show them the way. Over the next few weeks, the team worked hard. They recorded everything. They built systems to send more messages. They taught the Liberty how to speak to Earth. And slowly the world began to understand. Some believed, some feared, some denied it all. But the message had been sent, and it couldn't be undone. One night, Leo sat alone in the mess hall staring out the window. You okay? Nina asked, joining him. Leo shrugged. Just thinking. About what? My mom, he said. She's not the same anymore. Nina smiled. None of us are. Leo looked at her. Do you think we'll ever go home? Nina looked at the, stars. Home isn't just a place, she said. It's who we are, and wherever we are together. That's home. Leo nodded slowly. Outside, the stars twinkled, waiting, watching. And somewhere far beyond the edge of known space, the watchers stood in silence, waiting too, for what came next, for the war, for the Hollow One, and for the girl who would lead humanity into the unknown. Maya stood at the window looking out at the stars. She whispered a single word, ready, and the Liberty hummed in reply.